Thank you for joining us. Today's panel is called Meeting the Challenge of Clean Heavy-Duty Vehicles Low Emission Solutions. And we were speaking a lot about diesel technology. So, not everyone here maybe know what a diesel engine is. So maybe we can start it out by talking about what that is.
It's one of my favorite things in the whole world, and I guess that's what officially makes me a nerd. But diesel power either is directly involved in let me say this another way. Diesel engines impact about half of our economy here in the United States. 1.25 million jobs, 4.4% of the exports, and they're really the workhorse. So they touch us all. So it's really important, and I'm sure we can all remember, and Vickie's really devoted much of her career to making those engines cleaner. We probably all remember the bad old days when you drive behind one of those machines and you get the big belch of black smoke. We've really moved up beyond that now, and I've spent my career doing that, and I think Vickie's spent a fair amount of time doing that as well. So, my mission and the mission of our industry is really to get to manufacture the products that get the goods delivered to our door much more efficiently than any other way, but also to do that in a way that is green.
So why is diesel specifically used for heavy-duty vehicles?
Yeah, diesel engines really are about 20 to 40% more efficient than a gasoline engine, so they use less fuel. They also are able to get a lot of power in a pretty small package, so that we can put a truck together or a piece of construction equipment and in a pretty condensed package get an awful lot of work done.
Tell me about Diesel and Caterpillar, which is where you're CTO.
Yeah, so we have, Caterpillar has 3 lines of businesses, and diesel engines and other power systems are about a third of those businesses. So we spend a significant amount of R&D to develop clean diesel that meets our customer expectations, and we manufacture those engines all over the world, including here in the United States.
So Vickie, jumping to you now, let's understand how much of EDF's work is around kind of diesel.
So about 15 years ago, there was a really groundswell of interest in the public interest community in trying to make progress in addressing kind of this black puff of smoke that Tana described. There were community activists who were deeply concerned about unhealthy air pollution in their neighborhoods and communities. There was a lot of scientific research, health advocates, and a lot of work by both national and local organizations, including my organization, Environmental Defense Fund. And as people were raising these concerns, I think the diesel engine makers faced a couple of choices. And one of those choices was, do they kind of hunker down and kind of say, we're going to fend this off and we're not going to sort of engage here? Or do they engage and lead? And I think one of the real breakthroughs in making progress was just the willingness of the diesel engine makers to kind of roll up their sleeves and say, we are willing to engage here and we're willing to help address this problem and lead, and that made an enormous amount of difference. It's been a big focus of the public health and the environmental community, but we could not have made the progress we have as a country without really the leadership of the diesel engine makers.
Interesting, and we will dive down more into that relationship between industry and nonprofit, which has been so successful, but I do want to drill down into diesel engines a little bit more. Give me the history of it. Why passenger cars employed gasoline engine and heavy-duty trucks diesel? Did these technologies evolve side by side?
Yeah, these technologies have evolved side by side, and the diesel power plant, like I said earlier, is very efficient, 20 to 40% more efficient, and you can get a lot of power in a small spot. If you go over to Europe, you'll see a lot of cars are powered using diesel. They have high fuel prices over there, and diesel provides an excellent solution. Quite frankly, it's not popular in the United States, and I think to a fair extent because of some bad product launches that were done back in the 1970s, and we have such a young audience. Some of you were probably little babies or maybe not even born then, but there were some bad product launches by U.S. automakers with diesel autos, and it just really hasn't taken off here. You see some of it. You see some of the Mercedes with the AdBlue and SCR technology. That's some of what we're going to be putting on our machines very soon. But anyway, I think the industry kind of stubbed their toe, but it is an excellent power plant.
Okay. Tell me about the role of diesel technology that it plays in modern and in modern and developing societies.
You know, one of our tag lines at Caterpillar is we're making progress possible. So we're sitting here in a hotel, a nice conference room. Imagine if the power were to go out. My guess is that there's some diesel power in the basement here that would keep the lights on, so we'd be able to continue our conference in some fashion. You know, we really are unseen to a large extent, but we really make that progress possible, and we power quite a bit of the world, and we're a big part of industrial society and of making places hospitable. It's part of bringing civilization, and again, our objective is to do that in the most sustainable way possible.
Is it used more in developing countries or less?
It's growing. You know, you can look at, generally speaking, if you take a look at fuel consumption in any given economy and GDP, they track fairly closely. So GDP growth and fuel consumption growth and the use of fuels, those track pretty closely. So the developing economies, as you might imagine, they're not consuming as much diesel power as the developed economies because we're bigger power consumers. So that's starting to change, of course, in China.